All right. Jada,
Hello.
great to see you again.
You as well. I always love the light behind you.
Yeah, I went with blue and green today. You know, brings up my eyes.
It does.
Yeah, totally. So last time I saw you at Squad Up, you were just moving to Houston.
Mhm.
How's that been and what led to that? Tell me about it.
Love Houston. It has, okay, granted, the weather is a lot. That I'm still getting used to. But everything else I love. I love a lot of the people are very hospitable and very welcoming, which has
Yeah.
been so nice. Uh, Especially having moved out here myself and not with, people that I grew up with, like my parents or my family or anything. So it's been really nice to be around people that include me in just so much. Um, on top of that as well, though, why I moved to Houston and what has been a part of why it's been so great has been for real estate. So I am in the loan business. I specialize in DSCR loans. And so being here has given me the opportunity to go to a lot of different events and a lot of different meetups and meet people that we are working together currently, and I can see us working together in the future. So that's been just fun.
What was it that drew you to private money lending and specifically DSCR? Why is this your niche? Why is this where you fit?
Yeah, so really, I had joined a couple of different masterminds. One of them was teaching people how to utilize their retirement accounts in order to lend and invest in real estate with it. So that was when I first started thinking about helping other people utilize their funds. And I was delving a little deeper into that, and I ended up working with a hard money lending company out here in Texas. They're actually a couple of sub two members that own the company and run it and are growing it. And so they actually reached out to me, which is really fun last year, early last year, and they were giving me the opportunity to understand how a hard money lending company works. So to be able to help them, bring them loans, but then also see the process. And from that, that's where I started that and then helping other people connect their retirement accounts or whatever it was that they wanted to do with their funds and lend in real estate. Those I really liked. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what the difference between connecting people there and then connecting people in like wholesaling. Why is there a difference there and what feels fulfilling. Um, I don't quite know yet, but yeah. So working with a couple of groups that I was working with, after a while, it eventually led into me doing DSCR because it was kind of a natural next step, I guess, progression. So if you're doing hard money lending or private money loans, generally you are lending to fix and flippers,
Yeah.
and so they'll want about 6 months worth of a loan to fix up the property and then like 3 or 4 months of holding costs while they're trying to sell the property. But a lot of times, especially nowadays, a lot of their properties are sitting on the market and they are needing to repay their lenders.
Yeah.
And so that's where it was, great next step for me to offer that refinance help. And so now I'm really primarily focused on the DSCR loans. So not even just the private money and the hard money. I can do those as well. I'm now more experienced in those realms, but now I feel like the DSCRs are where I'm able to provide more help than just one or the other.
Sure. You got more levers to pull.
Mhm. Exactly.
So, tell me a little bit more about your DSCR capacity. Is there any specific product that you like to do within DSCR? What is your overall capacity? Like, can you do a $10 million product?
Not yet. I know some people will always say, "Yeah, I can do this. I can do anything." But I really enjoy the aspect of under promising and over delivering. So right now, what we can do is we can do up to $5 million loans at a time. Um, at least I think I said that right. So yeah, 5 million is the cap for one loan, but we can do 10 of those loans at a time. That's fine.
Okay.
Um, yeah, right now the the loans that I like to work in personally are nice, are easy. They're people who just need to refinance either because their flip is sitting on the market or they were a private money lender and their borrower went into default. And so now they are owning the property. And so they want to repay themselves. Or if somebody just had the intention of, I want to buy this property and hold it just in general. So that's my favorite just because I feel like they're easy. I
Yeah.
like ease. I like simple. I like ease. Ease and flow has kind of been my motto growing up. Um, but I'm really I really want to get that Cody Sanchez, Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins, the whole mindset of I can't exactly remember what the wording is right now, but essentially solve bigger problems.
Yeah.
So that's that's what I'm pushing myself to do. So while I do like helping other people with a lot of those kind of more simple, less complicated refinances or purchases, we're also now getting more lenders who can help with pad splits, lenders who can help with mortgage methods, lenders who can help with a lot of just different other aspects of things, commercial lenders. I even know of a lender now that we just got in that has a product for mobile home parks and sober living and assisted living. And I remember getting a lot of inquiries about that within the last few months. So it's nice to actually be able to have these options now available for people.
Yeah, that's awesome. You said mobile home parks?
Yes.
Awesome. Speaking of Morby method, how big can you guys go on that? Because I know somebody that's looking at something that's going to be about 15 to 17 million.
Yeah, like I said, 5 million is our cap right now.
Okay, that's for all products.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Um, what is the most interesting out of those? The co-living, the Morby method, and the mobile home parks. What speaks to you the most? What gets you excited to learn about it?
I'd say the co-living because that's where just affordable housing. For
Yep.
me, I love that. I love being able to help people help people. So I think that kind of fulfills me a little more. And those are the ones that I'm really trying to specialize in as well. Maybe not super specialize in, but really find more and more products because right now we have some pretty decent products. Like if somebody's wanting to buy an existing pad split, we can do that for them. If somebody wants to refinance a pad split and utilize the pad split numbers, we can also do that. So now it's just being able to figure out which lenders are best for which situations. So if
Yep.
people are using fractional, for example, and raising money and bringing in a lot of private or a lot of capital partners into their LLC, that that will be for a specific lender. And so it's trying to see if I can find one lender who can do it all. But for now, at least I know I have options for people between the different aspects of what they want to do.
Yeah. So I want to go back to a little bit of your initial experience in lending in general. Like, what got you into the whole private money show?
I think. Um, what did get me into it? I I know I tried my hand at lending early on, like when I was maybe a couple of months into the real estate field, and it was not good. It was not a good deal, not a good experience. It was a great experience because I learned from it. Not great at the time because I was losing money. I was like, all right, whatever. So I think being in the that mentorship or that mastermind where people were learning how to utilize their funds, I at least knew about flipping and wholesaling and how the numbers worked there. So I was just trying to provide as much information as possible. And then after a while, people were saying, I want to move this money. Like they would come to me and say, tell me where to put this.
Yeah.
So I think that's really what sparked it. And at that point, I was starting to meet a lot of different flippers and actually private money lenders themselves. So those are the people that I worked with when I first started. So it wasn't just me going and taking people's money and saying, put it here. It was like, hey, private money lender, I have other lenders. Do you have any opportunities for them if you're not liquid? And he did. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so I like working with people who are already doing things and kind of delving into that more. So that's really how I started.
Yeah. So, what is it when folks are new that you know now from that experience and from that mastermind that kind of helped you get over the hump? For the new gators and private money lenders out there, what is it that they really need to understand?
I think security. Security is the biggest thing. A lot of I don't and I when it comes to gators, I don't necessarily know if all gators are any kind of private money or if it's just EMD and double closes. That I'm not super intelligent on. But understanding security is, I think, the number one thing. There's a lot of people that still lose money even if they're double closing or if they're doing EMD deals, and they're saying like, "Well, I followed the steps. I just had to make sure the B2C funds were with title, and then I just sent like that's fine. What's going wrong?" But maybe they didn't do their due diligence on the title company, and there can be just a myriad of reasons why a deal may go south. And that's just been a huge thing. Like there have been times where even with a regular private money deal, and they're just lending to a flip, there have been times where the title company didn't call us to confirm the wiring instructions, and so they sent the wire to like the borrower rather than back to us.
Oh,
And so it's times like those where, you know, it's nice to understand the security and working with people that remember about or have their own methods of like, okay, now before we know that they're going to send the wire, let's call them up. Like it's just additional measures to make sure that things run smoothly. So I would say those two things. Understanding security and actually how to do your due diligence and making sure that things are secure, not just in like security as in like first position or second position, but actual like how are you going to secure the funds and secure
yeah,
that they come back to the right place. And then second is working with somebody that does things so that you can learn from them how to understand what's secure and what's not.
sure. Speaking of security, let's pivot back to retirement accounts.
All right.
'Cause there's an awful lot of folks in our community that have $100,000 and they
Mhm.
have it either in a 401k that they've captured or then maybe they have it sitting in a SDIRA. What can they do with that? What are some avenues that they could contact you about and potentially deploy that capital?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I would say I'm more into just the lending field. So
Mhm.
people can actually buy properties with their retirement accounts. And it could be with like any account. It could be with your IRAs, 401ks, your HSAs, your CISAs, like all of that. You can just buy property. Um, so there's always that aspect. And then you can also lend with your retirement accounts. And when it comes to lending, you're not going, and I still need to understand when people are like tax-free accounts, because it's been a while and I understood it at one point and I've just been not catching up and reminding myself. So I don't quite know. But the one thing I do know is that if you are lending from your accounts, you're not going to get charged taxes on any of the interest that comes back to you. So that's a big bonus when you're really wanting to grow your retirement accounts. Uh, lending, lending is the main thing, and that's where I have a lot of contacts that I work with that if I'm a little too busy to help somebody one-on-one and help them find deals, I have contacts that find deals, and then we all come together and work with each other and kind of go throughout the process if somebody has a deal.
If somebody has 100 grand right now, and I do know a couple of people that are kind of in this situation, what would you recommend for them to consider? Would it be lending on some of your DSCR products? Would it be first position fix and flips? Like where would you guide them toward?
If I were in their shoes, I would always do first position. So you can't really lend on DSCR products. I
Okay.
mean, no, that's really difficult, and that's kind of gets into a weird things with DSCR lenders. A lot of times they don't allow second position. That's why. Um, but for me, I would probably, my favorite thing would be to lend to people that are fixing and holding. So rather than fix and flip, because a lot of people will, if they're going to do a fix and flip, they're like, cool, I'll sell the property, no worries. But then sometimes they don't think of like contingency plans and
Yeah.
Oh, if I need to refinance, what's that going to look like until they're actually needing to refinance? And then the numbers are all screwed up at that point. So I would probably, yeah, focus on people that are growing. And they can be buying pad splits, they can be buying long-term rentals. I think those are two good exit strategies. But I would probably gear towards people with that focus. Like I'm going to build my portfolio and I'm going to build it using cash right now because a lot of creative deals are kind of wonky. And with cash, I just see more opportunity to actually use other people's money. Because if you're
Yeah.
buying creative deals, everybody's going to be in second position, and that's kind of risky.
Yeah. So, speaking of portfolio building, where are you going in your journey? Where are you ultimately trying to build your own portfolio, or kind of what's your why? What's your Everest?
And I'm still working on. I really just like helping people right now, and I know that it'll come back to where I'm able to like help myself and focus on that more. But uh, really, I'm just focusing on the DSCR loans because it makes me feel fulfilled, and that's my Mount Everest right now. I just want to keep helping people and help people feel fulfilled. And I think the more and more that I'm in this space, I've already learned a ton of different things. So now if I know that somebody wants to do a pad split, I can, you know, I can tell it, like talk to them and be like, okay, these are the different ways that I've seen people do it. Let's see which way suits you. So
Yeah.
there are some people that want to buy pad splits, already put the rooms in, and then refinance, which you can do, but also uh, when you're refinancing, it's very dependent on comps. So if you already add like 8 bedrooms, are there any other comps for 8 bedroom properties in the area? If not, then it can get weird. But some people just want to use the hard money loan and use all of that rehab to do things, and it works out for them, and that's fine. And then there are other people that don't want to do that, and they have a couple of different ways. Um, and so right now, I feel like I'm able to have a pretty easy, maybe not easy. Um, but I'm in my field of like, okay, I can provide the funding. But because I'm providing the funding, I get to see a lot, like just an array of different exit strategies. And so with that, I think it'll one help me, I guess, if I ever want to do those strategies. But I just feel like more and more I'm going to be able to help more people and guide more people and just I don't know. I think that's what I like to do. I want to be like a more of like a guiding force.
Yeah, I can tell you're definitely a helper and you get a lot of gratification out of, you know, getting people to their goals. And you kind of win through them, right?
Yeah, I think that's how it's always been too. Like growing up, I didn't really have like a this is what I want to be when I grow up. It was just we'll see.
Yeah.
So that stayed. It has
Join
remained.
the club. There's,
Yeah.
there's a lot of us out there. I thought I was going to be a pitcher for the Yankees, but that didn't work out and I didn't really have a backup plan. So it's like, I guess I'll do this now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you dream big. That's awesome, Daniel. What the heck?
Dreamed big, but didn't get there.
It's okay.
College was about as far as I got. So, I am curious if I have, are you still doing any fix and flip stuff? Do you guys still land on that stuff? First
Yes.
position? Will you do 100% of the like the purchase and flip?
Uh, there are options.
Okay.
Yes.
The reason why I ask is I know somebody that has like essentially a flip program, and this guy's done hundreds of flips. And he's teaching, his students in this area to essentially do flips, and he's hand holding them, walking through it, show them how to go find stuff at Home Depot and how to find a good contractor and how to underwrite and how to do all the things, how to negotiate. So he's overseeing it, and he's open, to like, hey, if I can get somebody to just lend on all of these deals, I'm personally going to underwrite them. So it's basically going to be me that's borrowing. It's just going to be through them.
Mhm.
And, he'll put parameters on what they can actually buy with this money. And he'll essentially personally back it, so nobody's like going to lose out on money. So
Mhm.
he's looking for somebody to fund these deals. We've got in this little group, there's two or three going right now. There's more people coming. So I would assume it would be at least two a month, maybe
Nice.
three. So maybe 24 a year.
Okay.
Um, so, and we've talked to a couple people, and a couple people are like, yeah, we'll do it for 15%. We'll do it for 12% and 3 points. And it's like, okay, cool. But, if we're going to be doing repeat business, we'd like the potential to have a little bit better terms. So when you mentioned fix and flip a couple of times, I thought, oh, maybe Jada knows who we can talk to.
Yeah.
I thought I had somebody and they were great, but I mean, they couldn't do more than 200,000. So, I mean,
Mm.
I don't know where you can buy a property and then flip it in Florida for $200,000. So,
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, I have a couple people. I have to see if they're liquid.
yeah.
I do know of a private money lender that I've worked with before. And so I know that he does 100% financing, but it's usually after the first deal that he's worked with a new borrower on. So like the
Hmm.
first deal, if it's, between, again, this is Florida, so we'll see. But
Yeah.
if it's between 100 to 200,000 for the purchase, then he'll lend on it and he'll just lend on the purchase. And it's just kind of like a trial and see how communicative the borrower is and how things run smoothly. And then after that, then the floodgates open. They're like, cool, you're a great borrower. Let's fund 100% of the next deals.
Yeah.
And that's where they can go a little more, a little higher.
Sure.
Uh, we have people that have multiple hundreds of thousands, but they wanted to start small.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, I talk to people all the time that are interested in some of the like private money stuff that I've introduced them to in the community. And they're like, let me dip my toe in this pool for about 50. And then if that works, then we'll talk about $200,000,
Yeah.
$500,000, et cetera. So
Yeah.
makes sense. Plus, if you make a bad decision, then it's, $200,000, not $500,000. So,
Yeah.
I would love the connection. If you could connect me and then we could connect everybody.
Yeah.
We can get a discussion going probably next week
Mhm.
would be great.
Yeah. I'll after this, I'll put you guys in a group chat, um, so that you can talk to him. I think you'd enjoy him. And I'm I'm helping him as well too to kind of be a little bit of an underwriting source, especially when it comes to refinances. So if the individuals that he wants to work with, if they're new, he wants to know, okay, let's actually have contingency plans. So cool,
Yeah,
this is your flip. All right, now go to Jada and see what she would give you if you had to do a refinance, or if a refinance is your plan anyways.
yeah.
So yeah,
Okay, very cool. Love it. So, Houston is where Jada is now.
yes.
What is Jada getting out and doing aside from sitting behind a spreadsheet and giving people money left and right? Like, what's entertaining about Houston so far? I briefly lived in Houston, and I mean briefly, like less than 6 months. I didn't like it. It was okay. I had a terrible roommate, but I was up in the northwest part of Houston, like the Willowbrook area,
Okay.
and it was
I'm in.
cool. It was cool. It was all right, but I got into a traffic jam at like 2 in the morning once, and I was like, I'm out of here. I can't. I can't.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it takes an hour to go anywhere.
Oh
Even
yeah.
you're going to the grocery store, like 2 miles away. It takes an hour.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, I'm biased against Houston. What are your thoughts on Houston so far?
There are things like the distance that I am still getting used to. Luckily, so I just live a very fortunate life. And the roommates that I'm with, they live in a really just an easy part of town. So
Hmm.
the grocery store is like 5 minutes away. Most of what I do, because I'm still it's I don't have a ton of friends here, so I'm trying to go out to like meetups and like meet more people and make friends that way. But sometimes it's tiring to just go alone and meet a ton of new people. So
Yeah.
a lot of times I will resort to just walking around and being at the park nearby and reading a lot. And that I should say it with more confidence because I love it. But sometimes I feel like people will think I'm a loner, which I'm not. I enjoy my
There's
alone.
nothing wrong with that though, because people are can be draining and taxing, and If, especially if you're not on a similar wavelength and you don't have similar value systems and things like that, like they can be really, really draining on you just to be around people that are kind of your antitheses in life.
Yeah, I think that's what it is because I have gone and I have met a lot of new people, but just not a lot that I've actually clicked with. And
Yeah.
I think what you're saying, yeah, you don't if you don't align with a lot of like the values and ambitions and it's
Or lack thereof.
exactly. Like it can be difficult to just talk to people and like get words out of them if they're not doing much. Or
Yeah.
they're doing some, but they don't really care about it and they're just like, oh, I'm just working a job. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
You I I don't mean this in a very rude way, but you almost feel like Dean Graziosi talked about this. Don't dim your light
Mhm.
around other people to make them feel better.
Yeah.
And it's not that you're better, it's just that they have a completely different course. They are fine with, actually, they're not fine. They usually complain about work a lot, complain about their spouse, they party a lot. And it's like, I'm like, hey, I'm talking about this and I want to go buy an apartment building. They're like, okay, big baller. It's like, no, I just want to do something a little bit bigger, a little bit different. And I found myself the oddball out a lot and I let it like take me off course for a while. And it was I've always felt like that a little bit of the loner. But there was a time period where I really leaned into it and I felt like I accelerated. And then there was times where I let people kind of like pull me in because it's like, well, at least I have people to hang out with.
Yeah.
Like I don't really care about anything they're talking about, but eventually they do pull you down to their level.
Yeah.
Like they will, and they did. And it took me a while to kind of claw my way back out of it. So I 100% understand it. And I don't mean it in a bad way. It's just people will suck you into their energy if you
Hmm.
let them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There's
don't feel
just
bad about it. Do your thing. Do
I
you?
will. That's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's actually very helpful because I'm I'm very strict about who I want to be around
Yeah.
and what essentially what my environment is. And so that's why I'll check out meetups, but I won't often go back if I'm like, well, these aren't necessarily my people. But if other people have
Yep.
people, I can have people and I'll find them eventually.
Yeah. But so what do you like to do other than sit in your lonely place and read? Um, like are you like I don't know, are you like into jujitsu? Do you get out and do stuff? Like are you an athletic person or do you cook? Like what's your thing? What's your way of venting? Do you
Oh,
shoot stuff? Do you shoot guns? Because then you would go up like 100 points in my book.
I have.
Okay. So you have shot a gun, so
Yeah.
you're kind of getting there. What's your thing? How do you vent?
Um, that that's difficult. I don't think about like venting. If I get
Decompress. Decompress.
I think usually it's a walk. So I'm walking around like really nice neighborhoods with like great trees and great houses. That's like, oh my God, this is that will immediately decompress me.
Okay.
Um, but I like to do activities. Like I love jujitsu. It's super fun. I just don't. I did it in college and I want to do more of it.
Yeah.
I'm working my way to it. So like a lot of these I like to do. I just haven't prioritized the time and energy and stuff to do, but I like jujitsu. I love playing pickleball, doubles. Singles is weird and awkward, but doubles is super fun. Um, there's I don't like cooking, but I love baking. That's fun. But
Okay.
there is this business, and I know it's like nationwide. I think it might be international, but anyways, they have a couple locations here in Houston. It's called Activate, and it's so much fun. I don't know if you've ever seen those, but it's like,
Uh-uh.
oh, it's like a bunch of mini games, like a human arcade. Like there will be
Okay.
a room where they have the floor lights up, so it's a grid, and so it'll there are different games with it. So there's one game where maybe there's like a red line that's going across the grid, so you have to make sure to touch the green grids and make sure not to hit the red one, or there'll be different colors, and it's like go on the blue, and so you have to like run to the blue one, and it's timed. Yeah, I recommend.
Is it Jada and a bunch of 9-year-olds? Is that
Yes,
what's happening? Yeah,
I'm gonna try that.
that's cool.
There's a room where it's lasers, and so you have to like
Laser
go
tag.
around the lake.
Yeah.
It's so
Okay.
fun.
It
But
sounds kind of cool.
those are the things that I love.
Okay.
I want to do. I want to just make a lot of money and like every week have new people come in and round robin and just play together.
I like that. I think that's an excellent goal. I mean, don't take yourself too seriously. What was
Mm.
that line in Van Wilder? Don't take life too seriously. You'll never get out alive.
Oh yeah. Wow,
Yeah.
I haven't heard that one in a while.
I know, right? Throwing it way back. Jada, this is awesome. I always enjoy hanging out with you, but I want to know how I can best bring people your direction. So when I'm doing my thing and I'm connecting and trying to get Eddie out of the building at Squat Up, so I inevitably meet 600 other people on the way out. It takes us an hour to go to lunch.
Yeah.
Um, how do I know this person needs to talk to Jada? What does that person look like?
Uh, Somebody who needs funds for their flips and refinances. Those are like the two things.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And Jada, we're gonna tag you, of course, below, but what is the best way for people to get in touch with you? What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is right here. My name. So just at Jada Thoele. Hopefully people can read that. But at JadaThoele. That's my first and last name, and that's me on like everything. On LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. It's all my name. Thank God for it being so unique.
Well, thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Like, you're one of my favorite people in the community. I don't even remember how we originally met, but we just had like the funnest conversation ever the first time we hung out. I was
Yeah,
like, I like that chick. She's cool. Like you and Megan Baker and Carly Grudman, I think are just my favorite people. Like
love them.
every time
Thank
I talk to
you so
y'all,
much.
it's a better day, you know?
Thank you.
See? You just got so excited just from a simple compliment. So it's like, my day's already better. So,
I love you, Daniel.
all
Go.
right, Joel. Thank you for hanging out with us. Go see Jada. Go get some money from Jada. She's got a ton of it, up to 5 million for the moment, but it'll be much more very soon.
Mhm.
So, Jada, great to see you. Thank you for hanging out. I will cut this up and send you some clips and we'll master social media in no time.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Thank you.
All right, girl. Take care.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.